Aladdin. A long time ago, in a faraway land called Persia, there lived a young boy. His name was Aladdin, and he lived with his mother in the middle of the town. Aladdin worked hard to help his mother, but they were still very poor. Just outside the town walls was an enormous palace. Inside lived a beautiful young girl called Princess Jasmine. She had a very easy life with more riches than she could wish for. There was only one problem. Her father was determined that she should marry a rich man like himself, so she was forbidden to play outside with the local girls and boys. Every day, Princess Jasmine would sit on her balcony, listening to the other children running and laughing outside the streets. How she longed to be outside with them having fun. "You will not mix with children like that," cried her father when she begged him to be allowed outside. "Those children are not good enough for you. You are a princess." One day, Aladdin was playing in the street when he noticed a very tall man with a long black beard standing by the market stalls. Everyone said he was a powerful magician. There was something about him that made Aladdin quite scared. A minute later, the strange man came up to speak to him. "I have been looking for you, Aladdin," he said. "I am your uncle Ebenezer." Aladdin was sure that this was a lie. He had never heard of having an Uncle Ebenezer. However, his uncle bought them such wonderful presents, clothes and shoes, that he soon forgot his worries. Aladdin and his mother were no longer poor and were most grateful to the magician, Uncle Ebenezer, for all his gifts. One day, the magician turned to Aladdin's mother and spoke. "I have to leave on a long journey, and I want to take Aladdin with me," he said. After a lot of thought, his mother agreed to let Aladdin go. After all, Ebenezer was his uncle, so he would surely take care of her boy. The magician and Aladdin set off on their journey. They walked for many miles until they arrived at the foot of a huge mountain. Cut into the side of the mountain was the entrance to an enormous cave. "This is where I need your help, Aladdin," said the magician. Then the man continued, "This is a magic cave. Inside are great treasures. The entrance is too small for me to squeeze through, but you will have no problem." Aladdin agreed to help. He bent down and started to wriggle his way through the narrow entrance. As he squeezed through the tunnel, he could hear his uncle's voice behind him. "When you are inside, you will see a great number of jewels and gems. Whatever you do, do not touch these. Just bring me the old lamp that you will see in the corner," he shouted. Aladdin continued squeezing his way through the entrance. Soon the tunnel opened up into a huge cave filled with treasures of every kind. Necklaces, bracelets, rings, and jewels of every size were dotted around the sandy floor. Aladdin could not believe his eyes. Hurriedly, Aladdin began to fill his pockets with as much treasure as possible. Just then he noticed a gold ring gleaming in the sand beside his foot. He bent down and quickly jammed it into his pocket. "Have you found the lamp yet?" shouted the magician impatiently from the cave entrance. Aladdin knew how to be fast. He quickly glanced around. There it was. He reached down to pick the dusty old lamp out of the sand. "Give me that lamp now!" shrieked the magician from the mouth of the cave. But as Aladdin held the lamp in his hands, he had a strange feeling that it would be dangerous to hand it over to the magician. Why did his uncle want it so badly? Suddenly he made a decision. "No, you cannot have it," he shouted back bravely. "You will pay for this," cried the magician, and waved his wand in the air. As he did so, a huge stone rolled up against the entrance of the cave, trapping Aladdin inside. Aladdin knew he had no way of escaping. He sat down in the sand and looked at the lamp. Why is this lamp so important to the magician? He wondered. As he sat there thinking, he started to rub the dust off the old lamp. All of a sudden, out of the lamp appeared a funny-looking genie. He was wearing gold earrings and had bracelets all the way up each arm. "Welcome, master," he said, smiling. "I'm your servant, and your wish is my command." Aladdin could not believe his eyes. "If you can grant my wish, then I wish to be back at home with my mother," he replied. In a flash, Aladdin found himself back at his house with his mother, surrounded by the jewels he had taken from the cave. Aladdin rubbed the lamp a second time to show his mother what had happened. Again the little genie appeared and granted Aladdin's wish. Whenever Aladdin rubbed the lamp, the genie appeared. Soon he and his mother had more food, clothes, and riches than they had ever seen in their lives. One day Aladdin decided to ask the genie for a palace, and of course the genie granted his wish. With so much wealth, Aladdin was now a very rich man. He had heard many stories about the lovely Princess Jasmine and sent her many gifts to amuse her. After a while, he decided to ask Princess Jasmine's father if he could marry her. Her father, the Sultan, was delighted that such a rich man wanted to marry his daughter. "You are a very wealthy man and worthy of my daughter," he said to Aladdin's delight. That summer, Princess Jasmine and Aladdin were married and lived for many happy years together, until his uncle returned. The magician had disguised himself and set up a stall outside the palace, selling new lamps. "Bring me your old lamp, and I shall give you a new one," he cried. Princess Jasmine did not know the true story about Aladdin and the magician, but she knew that Aladdin had a very old battered lamp. "I'm sure he would like a new one," she thought when she heard the magician's words. So Princess Jasmine handed over Aladdin's magic lamp to the evil magician. The magician laughed as he rubbed the lamp in his hands. "Your wish is my command," said the genie, appearing as he always did. The evil magician then wished for Aladdin's lovely princess and beautiful palace to be whisked away into the desert. He hoped Aladdin would never find them again. On hearing this, Aladdin was heartbroken, but then his mother remembered something. "Aladdin, you still have your magic ring from the cave," she cried excitedly. Aladdin fetched the ring from his room. He looked hard into the jewel and begged for the safe return of his princess and palace. All of a sudden, Princess Jasmine appeared in front of him, standing in the gardens of their palace, and somehow she was holding the magic lamp. Aladdin now knew what he had to do. He summoned the genie and spoke very clearly. "I wish for the evil magician to be banished from this land forever." As always, the genie granted his wish. Princess Jasmine and Aladdin lived happily ever after and were never bothered by the evil magician again. The end.